all staying healthy. Today on Staying Creative During Quarantine, I want to teach you how to draw these optical illusion hands.
You're going to start by tracing one of your hands, doesn't matter which one, lightly with a pencil. Apologies in advance if you can't really see my line. I try to draw it light, but also dark enough to kind of see. Next, you want to get out your ruler, and I like to start with the top fingers. I'm going to draw a line, and you're going to see me stop where the fingers are. So I'm going to stop when this line meets the previous line. It is important you keep the pencil lines very light. If you can kind of catch where I'm picking up my pencil, that's where I'm not going through the fingers, I'm not going through their hand. Essentially, I'm just really making a background. Once I lay in the color in a later step, you'll kind of see where these lines are a little bit better, and we can always come back. The spacing between each line is important. You can kind of see I'm not going any more than a half an inch to an inch. Some of them are going to be a little closer to each other, kind of depending if you want to do maybe a thicker than thinner than thicker than thinner spacing. You want to make them all the same space apart, and if you want to mark that out on the side of your page beforehand, you can definitely go ahead and do that. I would just suggest not making them too far apart so you don't have these wide spaces, because you're going to lose a little bit of that illusion. And then now I'm at the palm of the hand, so it's a little bit easier because I'm only really using the left and the right side of the paper, where the middle I'm not continuing that line because the hand is there. And then just don't forget to finish the rest of the paper. And so then when you're done making all your background lines, essentially you're going to have a full page full of a whole bunch of lines and this empty hand that you created. This next part's a little difficult because it involves you visualizing something that's not there. So the lines that did have the hand on it, once again, remember, they're not straight all the way through the paper, but now we're going to make them through the paper. So you're going to see me connect the points of the lines that went through the hand, connect them with each other again. However, instead of going through the hand and fingers in a straight line, you're going to arch that line. So you're going to match up every end point with another starter point next to it. I'm hoping that makes sense. Once we add color, you can kind of see and follow my line movement. When you're making your arches to connect the rest of your lines, I like to go about halfway into the space above it. When you get to the palm area, it is a little tricky because the space is wider. So instead of where the fingers, where you can kind of see a stop and a start point easily, just kind of pay attention in the palm area where you're starting and you're stopping, so you're matching each side of the line. And now you should have the hand with the arch lines, the background with the straight lines, and all the lines are connected together. I'm going to go ahead and lighten up with my eraser the original hand outline, just because I drew mine a little bit darker than I probably normally would. Coloring. I'm going to go back up by the fingers like we did before, and I'm going to start by first outlining the space. I'm going to start with outlining the lines that we made, just as kind of guidelines, so I know the space that I'm going to be coloring, and this will help also make a better illusion. Then I'm going to go and choose a different color. If you want to do a pattern, you can with back and forth colors. I like to use 3 colors if I do a pattern. You can make these all different colors if you want as well. So now you're going to see me going back and make sure I'm coloring in the right space, and I'm redrawing those lines so they become a lot stronger. And I know my guidelines now. So now that you kind of see where the pencil was, if you wanted to go back and watch part of the earlier video, now it kind of might make a little more sense to you. Remember when I said I like to make those guidelines really light? It really helps if you use a light color like yellow, like I'm using now, because pencils sometimes can show up. So since my lines are a lot lighter, I'll have less pencil marks coming through. I'm going to skip down and do the arch of the hands for you. So like I said earlier, when we made them, they are a little bit tougher because they are wider on the hands when you had to connect those. So just make sure that you are still connecting and you're drawing your guidelines again. Don't forget all of your extra lines in the background. And once you finish up your coloring, make sure you don't really have any gaps. Here are some other examples for you guys. Feel free to use as many colors as you want, use other coloring supplies, use different hands.
I hope you guys had fun drawing optical illusion hands, and I can't wait to see what all your guys' creations look like. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you next time.